Hello, party people. I am mildly late, but I think you're getting to expecting that by now. I do apologize. I didn't mean to be this late. I'm an hour later than I normally would start on the weekend. But I was over in Vex Electronica's stream chat, checking out her opinion of Citizen Vigilante. And, yeah, I mean, it's not what I'd call a great movie. And I'll give you the thoughts about that now before I do anything else. I'll try to avoid any spoilers. I'm not going to try real hard. So if you haven't seen the movie, maybe mute until, you see the browser come up, in which case then you'll know that I've finished talking about it. But, yeah, it's a Yui Bowl movie. It's not bad. It's not great. It's definitely an 80s revenge vintage action flick in the B-movie vein. The writing is a little bit inconsistent. The protagonist character is, he kind of vacillates between being, someone who's cold and calculating, almost coming off as autistic, versus at other points he seems almost to be a mad dog. And it's very much a Yui Bowl movie. It's got very little internal consistency. The obvious reason that it was banned is because the main character, who in some lights could be considered a terrorist, in other lights would be a vigilante, in some lights might be a hero. I don't think I'd go that far. He's definitely not aspirational hero material. At best, he's a dark hero or an anti-hero. Again, trying not to spoil it. There are points where he does things that are very much admirable, and there are other points where you look at it and you go, okay, is this a reflection of European culture? Is he just a degenerate? What is the issue? Like, why is this written in this fashion? One thing I will tell you, because I just learned it today, is that it was shot in Zagreb, in, I believe, Croatia or Serbia. I can never remember which. The setting itself is described simply as Europe in the opening titles, or the opening scene, where they show just a single title, Europe. Now, I'm going to have to give you a bit of a spoiler here. So, again, if you don't want spoilers, wait until I put my browser up. You'll know that I'm done talking about this film. The one spoiler I do have to drop is the fact that the main character is American. And the reason that that's pertinent is because really he shouldn't have been. To be doing what he was doing in the place he was doing it, he really should have been from that place. You cannot issue an imprecation to people to defend themselves as someone who is claiming to defend them on the basis of who they are if you are not part of that group. It loses some of its sheen that way. Couple of quick notes about like the technical and the production. There's some serious continuity errors in this film. They're not really affecting the story, but they're there and they're hard to ignore. What else? Armie Hammer. I don't know if he did a great acting job in this. The way it feels is like he was, not that he was phoning it in, he was definitely working. And very much conscious of what he was doing. But the dialogue, some of the behaviors, it's iffy. The only other thing I will spoil is this. There is a scene where some people will suggest that he was killing innocents. I can see the point there, and it is a valid point, until you stop to realize that the motivation of this character is partly to be anti-immigration, and specifically anti-Muslim immigration. And because of that, the character is unforgiving, is probably the most complimentary way to put it. And this is part of the reason why I say there are times he comes off like a mad dog, is for one of the later scenes. Yeah, it's, I paid $5 for the rental before it was free on X. I don't regret that. It's worth seeing. Let me put it this way. It is a bad movie in the way that movies used to be bad, because it was just fair to middling production. Technically. In terms of the technical aspects of the filmmaking here. Some of the cinematic is actually, or some of the cinematography is actually really nice. But it is a very flawed production. It's obvious that it was funded completely by Bowl himself, which is fine. He had every right to do it, and he's probably going to make a small fortune out of it. Which really makes me hope that he hires better writers for anything he does going forward. If he does a Citizen Vigilante 2, I hope he takes into account some of the criticisms he's gotten and realizes that, hey, he has to do things differently. Okay, now, with all of that said, let's move on to where I normally start, which is, of course... Oh, before I do that, I actually do need to do the e-begging. I have to remind myself to do this because I'm terrible for it. So, thank you very much to all of my 87 followers. Thank you to Dissident Knight for his extremely generous donations yesterday. That was my single most profitable stream I've done, and it is deeply appreciated. One second, I'm hearing a wheeze in the back of my throat. Okay. Thank you to my 87 followers on this channel. Thank you to my, I think, 200 plus on the main account. Thank you very, very much to my 1,360 plus followers on X. And, there's roughly 600 of you scattered throughout the various other social medias. Thank you all very much. I deeply appreciate your support. Speaking of support, if you would like to support me monetarily, you can go over to the Ko-Fi and fling me a few bucks. If you do that on a monthly basis, I'll put your name in the ticker alongside ZenRab7 and Simon JJ. If you don't want me to name you, I will put you in the Meringatang gang. I am, in fact, the Meringatang. If you look at me from a certain angle, I do look a little bit like a ginger silverback. And I'm fine with it. I call myself the world's sexiest thumb. You think my ego is based on my looks? Please. My ego is based on how fucking awesome I am. Anyway, if you would like to support me without spending any money, you can like, share, chat, comment, follow, or subscribe depending on platform. You can send me Rumble rants. You can subscribe to me on Rumble. I will never be monetized on YouTube, so don't bother worrying about that one. But I will let you know, I prefer the Ko-Fi, because if you support me on Rumble, Rumble takes a massive cut. Anywhere between 30 and 50%. I don't begrudge Rumble that money, because I understand they are attempting to compete with YouTube, and they are attempting to do things that YouTube doesn't. That said, the mobile app is still trash. There are still significant problems with Rumble server speed and things of that nature. So, yeah, it's concerning. Let me see. Moving on. Yes, I have the e-begging out of the way. Excellent. I'll do that again before the end of the show anyway. But in the meantime, we start where we always start, with Thus Always to Dickheads. It's significantly louder than I usually have it. Just a second. Oh, no wonder it's up in the 60s, because Vex was low. There we go. That should be a little easier on the ears. And I do apologize if I blew out anybody's ears while they're wearing headphones or earphones. So, starting today, we only have 2 Sic Semper Mentalis stories today. We have, let me pause this here because this is frigging hilarious. So from Asian Crime Report, we have an Asian guy beating up a black guy for messing with his camera. It's a little hyperbolic. Doesn't actually beat him up, but he definitely takes him out. Let's see. This clip is a scripted sketch. It stars the streamer at Ethan Tianiyiki and his regular collaborator, Webb Jr. It's not a real fight. That's unfortunate. Because if it had been a real fight, it was technically sound. So, we're going to look at this not as a Sic Semper Mentalis. We've just switched to a fight choreography critique.
Yo, chill with the camera. Yo, don't touch the fucking camera,
nigga,
bro.
you fucking
don't
chill.
touch the camera.
Nah, nigga, you chill. Don't walk out of here.
Yo, don't touch the camera. Good.
Yo.
What's good? What's good?
What the fucking what?
What's good?
What's up?
Good.
What's up?
Fucking go.
What's up, man? Like, see what the hell?
Okay, in terms of the choreography, and we're going to move away from this shot if we can. In terms of the choreography, I see it now. Initially, I thought, if you watch his right arm here, I thought he was telegraphing. What he's doing is clearly signaling that he's about to throw this big haymaker of a punch, so that he can be shot and taken down. And, yeah, I was confused the first couple of times I saw this about how did you manage to pick this leg? It's very obvious now, knowing that it's a skit, that this was intentional. So, yeah. Not bad. Right? It had me fooled. Yeah, the absolute complete lack of defense against the neck, that kind of makes it obvious now, too. Now, initially I assumed, okay, maybe the black guy is drunk or what have you, but no. And I will point something else out as well. If you are playing, you need to be extremely careful about putting somebody in a grip like this. Because if you apply too much pressure, you can damage the windpipe, and obviously you can close off the carotids, which is the point of the chokehold in the first place. It's not actually about choking someone. It's about cutting off the circulation to their brain. Yeah. Actually, not bad. I'll say this, whoever did the choreography for these guys, the whole tapping out thing kind of had me wondering as well. But, yeah, scripted sketch. It's actually not bad. So I need to make a point here. Now knowing, oops. Now knowing it is a scripted bit, I see some good fight choreography here. Whoever was behind it has a future. Yeah. The other Sic Semper Mentalis we have today is from the animal world, and is absolutely not scripted. Oh, I have nothing for that today. That's unfortunate. So much for Base Japan today. Anyway, from Vilfson. When I am king, statues will be built of this dog. My borzoi attacked and killed a pit bull. What should I do? Feed it treats. A neighbor's pit bull got loose. Now, most people don't know the difference between, and I have to move this, most people don't know the difference between a pit bull and a Staffordshire, various other breeds that are pit-like. So, we'll say a neighbor's pit bull got loose and started coming at us and my little girls while on a walk yesterday. Had my borzoi with us on the walk and let him loose, and got my kids to stand behind me. I thought my dog was a goner, but was I wrong? My dog tore up the pit bull while his owner was yelling and screaming, trying to kick my dog off. His dog went into shock and died a few hours later at the vet. Good. Yeah, absolutely good. That's the goodest boy right there. And I did say that's a good pupper. Yeah, in Old English that would be, let me hit. I don't find borzois particularly attractive as dogs. I think because they're sight hunters. Their physiognomy is extremely different, and I'm not particularly fond of them, but still a doggo. Lord Foog, the Toost. And Wilson seems to like translating things into Old English. I think it's Old English, yeah. Wolf hunting dog will tear up most other dogs. For the record, the borzoi is not a wolf hunting dog. That's not an Irish wolfhound. That's a borzoi. A borzoi is a desert-dwelling sight hound. It's basically its ability to hunt is based on what it can see, not what it can smell, which is basically the reverse of most dogs. Certainly the hound breeds that we have in the West. Unfortunately, it's already time for the clown show. I mean, the comment section. And I'm going to try to go through these a bit quick today because I just want a game. It's been a week. Okay. First up in the clown show, let's talk about Mark Carney completely having no idea how to stop bankrupting Canada because, well, it's starting to be pretty obvious it's intentional. From Maxime Bernier, this is a bailout for struggling real estate developers. We don't have the money for it. It's a scandal. Carney's government is putting condo developers first, not Canadians. Carney reveals BC condo plans $1.45 billion cost. Insists it is still in early stages. For those of you who don't know, back about 10, 15-ish years ago, the real estate markets in Vancouver and Toronto went through the roof. A lot of people suggest that this is due to foreign money laundering. That these various organized crime groups, potentially government agencies even, were buying these places and selling them back to themselves to inflate the price. The problem now being that the developers who have vacant condo units have somehow managed to get the governments of Canada and BC to foot the bill. Because they're going to be turned into affordable housing units. Right. Yeah, let's see. Prime Minister Carney and BC Premier Eby cautioned that a $1.45 billion proposal to convert vacant condo units to affordable housing is still in early stages as they pushed back against critics labeling the idea a bailout for struggling developers. What the fuck else could it be? Just force the developers to put them on the market at fair value and take the fucking hit. That's it. If they end up losing their shirts, that's their fault. Real estate is a speculative business. Ask Trump. Sorry, no, you can't have Canadian taxpayer money to whip out at a problem that they created, that was also created in part by the Canadian government allowing foreign ownership in the first place. Yeah. PPC for Canada, say no to communism. Let's see. Thundercat says, I'm trying to sell my shed. I have listed it for $5 million. In my opinion, it's grossly listed on the low end of the market. Will Mark Carney help bail me out because nobody wants to pay my advertised price? Yeah. He actually said that the developers don't want to sell it at a loss. No shit. Nobody does. Wow, I think just about everybody doesn't want to sell for a loss, but this clown actually said it about the guys that own the condos. They made money for 20 years, but now that they're facing a loss, the taxpayer gets to make them whole. It's a goddamn disgrace. Yes. CRBE is the latest parasitic consultant scam in BC Poly, whispering into Christine E. Boyle's ear. CRBE, Coldwell, CBRE, Coldwell Banker Richard Ellis. It's an American multinational corporation, the world's largest commercial real estate services and investment firm. Headquartered in Dallas. Why are they headquartered in Dallas? Because I'm pretty sure they used to be headquartered in New York. Yeah. Communism is bad for everybody. Go figure. Speaking of things that are bad for everybody, let's talk about King Charles the Oathbreaker. From Father Calvin Robinson. His Majesty King Charles III has betrayed his oath to be defender of the faith, changing the definition from the one true Christian faith to some globalist nonsense about multi-faiths is not only treasonous, it is also the heresy of pluralism, an act worthy of dethronement. This is from The Telegraph. The king is to, quote, protect multi-faith nation in a revised definition of the monarchy. Charles clearly doesn't think the British folk will rise up against an oathbreaker and demand that he be dethroned. William himself has said that he doesn't want to be head of the church. That would be the Anglican Church, the church that I grew up in. And, yeah, personally, I think they can all hang. Not literally. They can go hang, or whatever terminology you want to use. That's a figure of speech. They can go fuck themselves. Slightly ruder way of saying the same thing. Calvin goes on to say, consider his coronation oath. The Archbishop of Canterbury, it's Canterbury, but okay, go ahead, Calvin, sorry, asked, will you, to the utmost of your power, maintain the laws of God and the true profession of the gospel? Will you, to the utmost of your power, maintain in the United Kingdom the Protestant Reformed religion established by law? Will you maintain and preserve inviolably the settlement of the Church of England and the doctrine, worship, discipline, and government thereof, as by law established in England? And will you preserve unto the bishops and clergy of England and to the churches there committed to their charge all such rights and privileges as by law do or shall appertain to them or any of them? Charles's response, which is a ritualistic response, all this I promise to do. And again affirmed, the things which I have herebefore promised I will perform and keep, so help me God. Which God was he talking to? Calvin goes on to say, restore the Catholic monarchy, restore England to the Catholic faith. And I did say oathbreaker, and I've been calling Charles an oathbreaker all day, and I'll continue to call him an oathbreaker. The Catholic part of that is where I'm taking issue. England is not governed by a Catholic monarchy. Now, within the Anglican Book of Common Prayer, the Church is referred to as the Catholic Church. That's the Anglican Church as well. And that's because Catholic in that context means universal. I don't know, and if Calvin is watching, which I fucking highly doubt, but if he is, hey Calvin, hope you're doing well. I highly doubt Calvin means a Roman Catholic monarchy. But maybe he does. I don't know 100% for sure. Personally, I would like to see a resurgent Anglican faith in the UK. You know, it would be nice to be able to believe the faith of my fathers isn't dead. Yeah. Let's see. It's not as if his oath to God was not clear. He swore to defend the faith, not faiths. This from In Lucy's Head. She says, it's Dieu et mon droit, not Dieu et nos droits. One God, the one Christian God. If he cannot defend that, he is not our king. He forfeits the only job he swore to do. I had to point out that she had pluralized the wrong word. He's taken it from Dieu et mon droit to Dieu et mon droit. From God and my right to God's and my right. Alpha of the Betas. Which part of Defender of the Faith does not understand? It's like if the Pope woke up one day and declared himself Pope of Islam, Sikhism, Hinduism, Buddhism. Treason and heresy doesn't start to describe it. It's insanity. Liberal universalism run wild. And the caption here, King to protect multi-faith nation in revised definition of monarchy. Yeah, that's the thing about institutions. You can't really revise them like that. You either destroy them and start over, or you get the fuck out of them, because you're not representative of them. And I did respond to Alpha. Do you think that isn't coming, that thing with the Pope? You might be in for a shock. Apparently, and I haven't confirmed this for myself, but I've heard it from several people I rely on, to be truthful, that there is apparently an Islamic prayer room in the Vatican. Why? Let's see. From Davis Barfield, he can protect the faiths. The UK doesn't have one faith anymore. Like America, many faiths get over it. You know America's a Christian country too, right? Same as Canada, same as the UK. France. I don't care how atheistic they want to pretend to be. The French people are fucking Catholics. Same as the Irish. One cannot be the Supreme Governor of the Church of England, head of a Christian state, swear an oath to defend the faith, and then promote multi-faiths. Absolutely right, Calvin. Absolutely fucking right. Moving on to another one. This crazy bint. She says, and you may not recognize her because, well, her nose didn't look like that before she got famous. Policing isn't about tackling crime, it's about empathy. PC Lydia Ward, the one that was punched in the face by Mohammed Amaz at Manchester Airport, leaving her male colleague to single-handedly take over, says women belong in the police and are often better than men. She's nuts. She's deluded. You're absolutely right. This is from Suffragant, apparently.
I just don't understand why. There was no need to punch me in the face. I mean, that felt like it was a targeted assault.
No shit, Sherlock. When you punch someone in the face, it is a targeted assault. Jesus, we're not giving this lady any more airtime. Let's see. Tom Rousel, if you can't take a punch, you shouldn't be a cop. Yeah. If you are not prepared to deal with the negative sides of your position, whatever it is, whether you're a cop, a politician, firefighter, doesn't matter, don't do the fucking job. Okay? If I couldn't handle splinters, I wouldn't be a woodworker. If I couldn't handle criticism from people who watch me, I wouldn't be doing this. How many women can't handle criticism? Rambling UK says, Kinnelly, or Kinnell. Kinnell? Okay, I don't know if he's referring to someone by name or not. I didn't realize her nose was that big. Is she related to her attacker? Suicidal empathy on steroids? Yeah. When he asked her about two-tier policing, this moron couldn't make eye contact, looked to the left, and got very overt with her hand gestures. She is lying and saying what she's been instructed to say. The eyes and hand gestures are a classic sign of discomfort. Yeah, when someone does this while you're trying to talk to them, yeah, that means they're being evasive. If they're doing this, it might mean they're making something up. Yeah. Coming back to Canada. Canadians are waiting more than 48 hours in the emergency room. That should be considered criminal. It's a massive scandal considering how much we pay for healthcare. Nothing free about the healthcare, and it also might kill you. Yeah. From Jenna Olson, now it's CBC, so yeah. You can be sure she has no idea what's causing this. Headed to the ER, here's why you could now wait more than 48 hours to be admitted. Admittance backlog is a result of an aging population, I mean that's true, overburdened medical system, says a national report. What's overburdening the medical system? Jenna, would you like to tell us? Miss Olson? Please? Yeah? No, of course you don't. Yeah. Adding salt to the wound, says Vic. Vic Sage. Vic Sagewood. I don't know if he necessarily knows who Vic Sage was. So that's a DC Comics character for those of you who actually understand the deep cuts. Adding salt to the wound. Canada spent $762 million in health across 414 projects in 130 other countries in the previous fiscal year before this one. Fiscal year 24-25, because 25-26 is already passed. Global health and nutrition. Canada is strengthening primary health care in countries where health systems face the greatest strain. So it's not enough that we're bringing the world here and giving them our free health care, which isn't free, we fucking paid for it. It's not bad enough that we're doing that. We're also sending that money outside the country to help other countries' healthcare systems. What the fuck? Trudeau brought millions of new immigrants into Canada. It wasn't just Trudeau. Don't fucking bullshit us. Right? There was legal immigration under Harper. You think that wasn't being used to pull people into the country? Come on. I got in right away, no waiting. Yeah, if you're lucky. I live in a town of... okay, let me rephrase. The local clinic services maybe 15,000 people total. Okay? Maybe. And I generally end up sitting for about 3 hours if I go to an emergency room. Sometimes it's way longer. I know people have waited 8-9 hours. In a tiny town, that's unforgivable. We still had to pay for healthcare despite no one in our household even having a family doctor. We've had 2 doctors retire on us in the past 5 years. All of us born and raised in Canada, who never left, and pay $600 a month to a private healthcare provider to get our basic coverage. It's ridiculous. Yeah, if you have... It's idiotic that there isn't a 2-tier system in this country. Those who can afford private healthcare should be allowed to have it. Those who can't should be forced, which they would be, to rely on the public system. And, I mean, this... I don't know that the U.S. is necessarily the best system to emulate, but it's better than what we've got. First, too much, from the Vintage Strip, first, too much immigration makes waiting times longer. Very true. 30% that go to emergency is not an emergency. That feels like you pulled that stat right out of your ass. They still cannot control that. Have a few clinics near the hospitals open till 9 and on weekends. Take the load off. If it is an emergency, they can make a phone call to say they're coming and need assistance. If it's an emergency, like an actual emergency, they don't need to call the hospital and say, hey, I'm coming in. They call EMTs, you dumb son of a bitch. Let's see. Canadians deserve private care and opt out of the government plan. That's an option, too. We should have the option to opt out. Speaking of opting out, if you are unaware of your organ donor status, check. You need to opt out in order to not be on that list now. Also, be aware that Canada is now one of the leading producers of organs for transplant in the world. Doesn't have anything to do with the fact that we're, 98.5% white suicide rate through government or anything. Yeah. What is this? Criminalize what? Criminalize nudity. Oh, sorry, no, decriminalize nudity. Yes, why not? Let's do that in Canada. Oh, look, 2 Brampton men. What the hell's going on with this guy? Let's see. Didger's In says, universal healthcare is the sacred cow of Canada. It's great for simple things like Band-Aids. Sorry, where am I? Band-Aids, broken bones, colds, and cuts. Anything more serious reveals the abject failure of the system. G'day. G'day, mate. Yeah, no, it's absolutely retarded the way that healthcare is handled in Canada. And speaking of absolutely retarded, let's talk about Trudeau. Am I actually following? Oh, no, I'll be unfollowing you. Yeah, the healthcare thing... Let me just pause this so he doesn't keep moving. The healthcare thing is bent. There should be some lesser form of healthcare. Like, it's... Think about it this way. The mom and pop shops... Like the small corner stores are dying because of the bigger chains moving into towns. But the problem there is the chains quite often have different hours than the mom and pop shops. And also with a mom and pop shop, especially in a small town, if you need something in a hurry, you can actually call the store owner. And I've done this in one of the towns I've lived in. Call up the store owner at like 8 o'clock on a Sunday night and say, hey man, I know you guys are closed, but can I get X, coffee and eggs or something for the morning? Most store owners will go, yeah, no problem, come on over. All right? Now, if you're a sensible person, you throw them a fucking tip. Because that's just what you do for good service. You go a little extra. But I mean, like, Didger, you're mentioning Band-Aids, broken bones, colds, and cuts. There's no reason to go to an emergency room for stuff like... Well, the broken bones, it depends. But if we had something like a smaller clinic system, like the hometown doctor sort of system, or even like nurse practitioners who could have private practices, and they could actually see patients in their home. I mean, if you need a bone set or like a joint relocated, things like that, you don't necessarily need the entire you don't need the entire functionality of a hospital. You don't need all that apparatus simply to put your shoulder back in place. You don't necessarily need, like if you've got a cold or a really bad rash, for example, You don't need to sit in an ER waiting for 5 hours to get a prescription for something. You should be able to call your local doctor or your local nurse practitioner, whoever's empowered to do it, and say, hey, I've got this problem. Can you take a quick look at it? Probably give me a prescription. Right? It would make way more sense, and it would decentralize things. And this is one of the big problems we have. For whatever reason, our society has decided that everything must be centralized. Medicine, commerce, politics, political force, especially with the feds. The feds are just centralizing everything they possibly can, which is retarded. That's not how you actually govern a country the size of Canada. Yeah, anyway. Let's listen to this moron.
There was a lot of debate as to whether or not President Trump was seriously thinking that he could make Canada the 51st state, or that...
Okay, Justin, nobody took that serious except you. You took that shit serious. I can't fucking understand why. But anyway.
He could take over Greenland or take over Panama. I think...
Take over. Dude, he's offered to purchase Greenland. He's offered to purchase Panama. Actually, I think the thing with Panama was... I think they've got a right to it. I mean, look at the Strait of Hormuz. If somebody decides to shut down shipping through the Panama Canal, that's going to fuck a lot of people over. Like you keep talking about this international order, this international rules-based order, but you keep hindering the people who can actually make it function. What the fuck is wrong with you? And, of course, my comment was, yeah, this little dickhead failed a shit test, and now the rest of the fucking country has to suffer for it. Literally, Trump made a fucking joke. The smartest thing Trudeau could have done would be, yeah, okay, sure. Just laugh it off. He was joking. Like, I've seen the footage of it. Trump was joking. He was shit-testing Trudeau. Because he didn't like Trudeau. And I can't fucking blame him. Trudeau, he actually could do all of that. Your impotent moaning is not manly or convincing. Yeah. Yeah, who knew that Katy Perry had the bigger dick in that relationship, eh? Yeah, Lil C says, isn't this asshole now in the U.S. all the time? Didn't he tell Canadians not to go there, and now he is there? Didn't this fucker tell Canadians to boo the U.S. national anthem, yet his new pop star girlfriend sings it at events? He's a fucking hypocrite. Yeah. He's a fucking politician. What do you expect? Politicians lie. Yeah, there's a very good reason I unfollowed Scott when I realized I had a follow put on him. Let's see. Scott, fuck off the flat earth, you piece of shit. You're retarded and know nothing of Trump's tactics. You're a retard that follows the liberals' mantra. Now I'm selling 7 figs in real estate because people like you turned Canada into a shithole. Yep. Canada's Combating Hate Act Police. Censor, enforce, prosecute. Unité de lutte contre la haine. Okay. I didn't know. Excuse me. Fucking moron. Hate seeing and hearing him. Worst prime minister in Canadian history. Bullshit. His dad has that title. Since when do conquered people not push back? What a backward statement to suggest that virtue signaling pushback is all it takes to deter a country from conquering you. If they wanted to, they would have. Exactly. Oh, this one's interesting. Trump is... This must be a parody account, is it? Multidisciplinary communications consultancy. We offer clients creative and seasoned advice at affordable prices. You have fewer followers than me. Fuck off. Trump is a Putin asset, and Trump's national security strategy calling for spheres of influence is Putin's plan. Trump is dead serious, but likely too stupid and infirm to pull it off. Really? Okay, good luck with that. I would have been pleased if you would have stayed a drama teacher and never got in politics. No. There's a damn good reason he shouldn't ever be near children again. But I won't make allegations like that on my show, because I'd rather not get fucking arrested or sued. Okay, moving over to... Ashley says, shocking, 14-year-old black boy arrested for brutal rape of a young mom and home invasion. A 14-year-old black boy has been arrested for the horrific rape of a 23-year-old mother in Mastic Beach. The teen allegedly broke into her home, strangled, stabbed, and robbed her before brutally raping her in front of her terrified 4-year-old daughter. The young victim, the victim, fled naked and bleeding, clutching her child. Police say DNA from the disturbing crime scene led to the quick arrest. The boy's black accomplice remains on the run. Neighbors are horrified by the savage attack. The juvenile faces up to 10 years in prison. This case exposes a disturbing new low in youth crime. And, the police officer here describes them as youths. And I had to say youth. That's funny, when I was a youth and my friends were youths, this would never have occurred to any of us to do. Are you sure youth is the right word to use? Also, hang the little bastards. Yep. Only 10 years. Smells like a bullshit story. Of course it does. We talk about women the same way women talk about men. Is that a problem? Yes. Yes, it is. Because we're not women. We're still not there yet, but close. Your rage is here. I need it to be here. Okay, let's see. Ditcher's got a couple in that I missed. Let's see. Women in Ontario have been going to Michigan to get their mammograms for decades because of massive delays. We can't even do that right under the current system. Yeah. At least they don't say it was the Jews. Up to 10 years. Problem detected. Yeah. Okay, moving over to July is White History Month, and as always, I will remind everybody, if you use the hashtag, please use it to highlight the struggles we face and the good things from our history and heritage. We don't need to ask permission to celebrate ourselves in our homelands. So, yeah. No, okay, we'll save that one for last. I think this is one of mine that I did in response to Mark Carney. Yes, it is. Do not allow these fleshmongers to rewrite your history. July is White History Month. The term mosaic to describe Canada was first used by American travel writer Victoria Hayward in her 1922 book Romantic Canada. She applied the term to the variance in European church architecture in the prairies and the presence of Japanese fishermen in British Columbia, viewing the landscape as an exotic mix of Old World European characteristics with smaller groups of Asians and Indigenous peoples. John Murray Gibson popularized the concept in his 1838 book Canadian Mosaic, The Making of a Northern Nation, where he explicitly focused on 30 European racial groups. Gibbons' model, emphasized the retention of distinct European ethnocultural identities, language, customs, and dress, while integrating them into a Canadian identity framed by British values. His work largely excluded Indigenous peoples, Asian immigrants, and people of African descent, reflecting a 1930s perspective that prioritized European diversity. It didn't prioritize shit. It looked at who was who had primacy, and actually responded that way. While the modern understanding of the Canadian mosaic promotes inclusive multiculturalism, the original usage and popularization did primarily refer to the coexistence of distinct European cultures rather than a fully blended or inclusive society. The metaphor was later adopted by the federal government in 1971, who was prime minister then, with the official policy of multiculturalism, evolving to encompass the broader diversity present in Canada today. Yeah. See what I mean when I say the other Trudeau was the worst prime minister we ever had? Yeah. And this is responding to Carney's office. Canada is a mosaic, not a melting pot. A mosaic doesn't dissolve its pieces. The beauty is in the arrangement, not the blending. On this hashtag Canadian Multiculturalism Day, which was yesterday, we celebrate the diverse communities whose contributions continue to build a strong, and I don't give a fuck what else he had to say. Yeah. Yeah, but let's talk about how diversity is our strength in the West, shall we? Another enrichment horror in Europe. Bangladeshi national Shahadat Hossain, 43, is on the run in Rome after hacking a mother, father, and their 5-year-old daughter to death with a meat cleaver in their own home, in their flat. A full manhunt is underway. This is what open borders and mass migration from incompatible cultures deliver. Brutal random savagery against families. Europe's leaders keep importing it. The people are paying the price in blood. How would you pick him out of a pile of fucking other Jeets? Yeah. Okay. I'll do this one next, because I have one that I'm going to have to do a lot of reading for, and another that is Canadian-focused. So we come to America again from Oren McIntyre. If you haven't seen Oren's recent interview or conversation, I guess is the best way to put it, with Newsfist over on YouTube, go and check that out. It's actually really good. So Oren, responding to James Woods, when a boomer one-shots the entire bottle of red pills. Yeah, apparently James Woods reposted this. Diversity is code for white extinction. Fuck, it's nice to see at least some of the boomers are waking up, and the famous ones at that. Awesome, it's nice to see at least some of the boomers are paying attention. Yeah. It escalated quickly for him, or he's been hiding his true feelings. To be fair, James Woods was in Hollywood for a very long time. I would say it was more a case of he was hiding his power levels. Yeah. Let's see. Let him cook. This isn't criticism, to be clear. Yeah. Yeah. My parents telling me the U.S. is against white Christian males. Telling my Fox News parents that you don't actually have to love Israel to love America. Yep. The hero we needed. They ethnically cleanse you while you're asleep. Yes. To quote the president, some of them are good people. Yeah, I hope he passes some out to the other boomers. Count up what your eyes see on the World Cup teams to see where whites stand globally. Yellow card issued, yeah. Let's see. Diversity is our strength. Also, isn't it admirable the way peaceful Muslims know who they are and stand together with their own identity and customs and culture? No. Yeah. Yeah. Old Hickory says, I'm here for it. We love you at James Woods. And I follow James. James is a fucking awesome follow. So, if you're on X and you're not following him, you should be. Okay. Brace yourselves. It's Pride season. Ugh. From Donald Best. It only took about 20 years to go from, we just want to rent an apartment and hold a job and get married, to, you must allow us to show our penises to children, or you are subject to the hate laws and we will have you arrested. Yeah, that's referring to this. Right? This is acceptable in Canadian society? I think I'd rather be a barbarian. So, Donald quotes The Beginnings from Rudyard Kipling. I have a response to that also from Kipling, but I'll read this one first. It was not part of their blood, it came to them very late, with long arrears to make good, when the English began to hate. They were not easily moved, they were icy, willing to wait, till every count should be proved, ere the English began to hate. Their voices were even and low, their eyes were level and straight. There was neither sign nor show, when the English began to hate. It was not preached to the crowd, it was not taught by the state. No man spoke it aloud, when the English began to hate. It was not suddenly bred, it will not swiftly abate. Through the chill years ahead, when time shall count from the date that the English began to hate. Now, I believe that's meant to be the Saxon, but yeah, my response, of course, was this. I would also offer this Kipling piece, Norman and Saxon, AD 1100. My son, said the Norman baron, I am dying and you will be heir to all the broad acres in England that William gave me for share, when he conquered the Saxon at Hastings, and a nice little handful it is. But before you go over to rule it, I want you to understand this. The Saxon is not like us Normans. His manners are not so polite. But he never means anything serious till he talks about justice and right. When he stands like an ox in the furrow, with his sullen set eyes on your own, and grumbles, this isn't fair dealing. My son, leave the Saxon alone. You can horsewhip your Gascony archers, or torture your Picardy spears. But don't try that game on the Saxon. You'll have the whole brood round your ears. From the richest old thane in the county to the poorest chained serf in the field, they'll be at you and on you like hornets, and, if you are wise, you will yield. But first you must master their language, their dialect, proverbs, and songs. Don't trust any clerk to interpret when they come with the tale of their wrongs. Let them know that you know what they're saying. Let them feel that you know what to say. Yes, even when you want to go hunting, hear 'em out if it takes you all day. They'll drink every hour of the daylight and poach every hour of the dark. It's the sport, not the rabbits they're after. We've plenty of game in the park. Don't hang them or cut off their fingers. That's wasteful as well as unkind. For a hard-bitten South County poacher makes the best man-at-arms you can find. Appear with your wife and the children at their weddings and funerals and feasts. Be polite but not friendly to bishops. Be good to all poor parish priests. Say we, us, and ours when you're talking instead of you, fellows, and I. Don't ride over seeds, keep your temper, and never you tell them a lie. Yeah, if you haven't read any of Kipling's stuff, you really should. Let's see. Nudity, grown men, arrested. Yeah, this deserves to be arrested. I don't know that Kipling's poem is really the closest connection to draw. Canada is a nation in rebellion against God. Oh, silence, Kate. Godless and immoral nation. Yep, called to vanish under the weight of absurdity and all in the name of progressive equity. Yeah. People were arrested for flashing back in the day, and now it's acceptable. It's really not. Yeah. Every one of them deserves to be beaten in an alley. That's one option. I think they should be given pilot's lessons, but that's beside the point. Or, a Pinochet helicopter ride. Babysitting time for humanity's lowest denominations is now over. Equality is a sickening delusion, forcing the exceptional to crawl in the dirt so the pathetic, mediocre herd does not feel inferior is the ultimate crime against nature. Yep, they are definitely that. Why? Okay, this we're just gonna laugh at whatever this is. Let me escape that for a second. Oh, hang on. Where's that coyote gone? There it is. Okay, so Joshua Garrison says he brings home a trapped coyote, let it loose in the kitchen. Why? Hackles up, teeth bared, pissing on the floor. My wife gets it out. I tell her that is a very unwelcoming and unchristian way to speak of a future house pet. The children back into the hallway. I tell them it's a rescue. I tell them fences are fear, cages are barbaric. I tell them the old rules were cruel. I tell them it will domesticate in time. Then I grab my lunchbox and leave them to live with my principles. When I get home, there's blood on the floor, and the experts who sold me on compassion are already explaining why nobody could have seen this coming. Anyway, that's Western migration policy. Yeah, that's not a bad one. Okay, I think I have some company upstairs. I'm going to put my headset on. Okay, you folks should... Oh, wow, that's kind of loud. Let me knock that down a little bit and try that again. Okay, not so bad. Still maxing out the yellow, but it's not punching right into the red. I'll turn it up again when I go to game. I do like a canine too, by the way. Okay, this is the last thing for July is White History Month, and it's a bit of a banger. Let's get a Sunday sermon in. From the Knights Templar International, just wait until the immigrants become the majority. What do you think is going to happen? And this fellow is clearly Irish, so I will put on the captions so that you can understand what he's saying. I understand even the Newfoundland accent can be a bit thick. Silent Yote.
They just don't like the illegals coming in. Well, illegals aren't that big a problem. 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year. We've got 2 million coming in legally. And I hear right-wing people say to me all the time, we just want rid of the illegals. If they've came here legally and they're working, that's fine. It's not fine! Because in 20, 30 years there'll be more of them than there is the odds. What future for our children will there be? And they might be nice and pleasant right now, but wait till they're the majority. You see, it'll change then. Oh, what? It'll change then. When they come in the minority, they're as gentle as a lamb. When they start growing stronger, they're as sly as a fox, the foreigner. Oh yes. And when the foreigner becomes the majority, they're like a ravenous wolf. And they will devour our children and our heritage and our nation and everything that we've built. It'll be devoured. And if you think this is nonsense, wait and see. Wait and see. It's happened in every other country where one population's been replaced by another.
Claim your free union.
Okay, that's just an ad for the Templars shop then. Yeah, I believe Boondock Saints had it right when they said, I believe the dear Monsignor is finally getting the message. Yeah. Now, to be fair, I do follow these guys, but I don't suggest you do. They're generally just occasionally good for things. So I do have some good news stuff, so mind your ears. This one's loud.
Good news, everyone!
From Maxime Bernier again, actually. And it's the only story I have in good news, and then we'll go just do some laughing. From Maxime Bernier. Excellent decision, well done. The temporary foreign worker program should be abolished, not expanded. Ontario says it will not participate in a temporary policy from the federal government to expand the number of low-wage foreign workers rural employers can hire, arguing that it would reduce opportunities for local workers, particularly young people. And yes, we must put Canadian young people first. Yeah, this relating to this story from Vanmala Subramaniam. Yes, what a wonderful Canadian name. Ontario will not join temporary foreign workers program. Good. At least that's what Doug Ford is saying now. Who knows what will happen in 2 months. Gordon Johnson. So then every employer will simply switch to the high-wage stream to find their low-skilled workers, which is why there are hundreds of $36 an hour cook jobs out there. Yeah. Let's see. Why not just invest in tech solutions instead of immigration? You really do have the right name on yourself, chattel slave. You would be enslaved by the AI that is supposed to be solving your problem for you. You dumb son of a bitch. Congratulations. Now stop blaming immigrants for everything. Get to work. Job at Tim Hortons waiting for you. Yeah, sure, bud. Remigration and deportation are in order. Yes. The Canadian foreign wage slave profit model must end for... Yeah, this is the thing. The people who are most in favor of immigration always only have two motives. It's either always food or slaves. There's no other options. These people, their motivations boil down to one of those two things. I mean, how many times do we need someone like Kelly Osbourne saying, who's going to clean your toilet if you get rid of the foreigners? That's what these people, these rich assholes, think. The only use for a foreigner, which is basically only... The only use for a foreigner is somebody cheaper to be your servant. That's the other story from earlier. Okay, moving on to, well, this one might not be quite a big laugh, but it made me chuckle. And I couldn't help but chuckle. So we'll play this story, and then I'll come back to the the quote from Gen Xer.
We will not let it crumble. We will set it right.
The Prime Minister is going to crowdfund as much money as possible to restore this home, 24 Sussex. It is one of the most famous addresses in Canada, and for more than 10 years, Prime Ministers haven't been able to live here because it is so run down. They didn't want to take the political risk to spend the millions of dollars needed to do work on it.
24 Sussex.
Excuse me. 10 years ago, Trudeau decided he was going to go live in the country. Fuck off. That's not why Sussex is sitting like that.
Is a symbol of the office it serves. It must also be a home.
The Prime Minister is launching a national design competition. The winner would be selected on July 1st, 2027 to both design and build whatever they come up with. An advisory panel will also be involved, and so taxpayers don't have to foot the entire bill. Carney says that they're going to have a fundraising campaign through the Rideau Hall Foundation. It's a nonpartisan charity to try and come up with as much money as possible. He doesn't know what the price tag will be yet, but said that he won't be the one living here. He's doing this work so that future prime ministers can.
He's not even going to live there. Yeah. Gen Xer points out, so they admit that 24 Sussex has been infested with rats since 2015. Fucking irony. A first world nation can't seem to get rid of rats. Trying to be a global leader? Yeah. Burn it down, rebuild. Just burn it down. So I don't get it. The drive to raise 36 to 40 million to renovate and modernize a building on 24 Sussex Drive. First, how the hell did it get into such a bad condition that it is unlivable? It's not. It is the Prime Minister of Canada's official residence. They didn't have a routine maintenance program. Of course they didn't. It cost money. It really does represent Canada, how budgets should just balance themselves. Funding is unlimited because of our credit. The house was built. It'll stand forever. Yeah. I'm sure all the seals are clapping. Yeah. Yep. Jason the Great says, I was thinking this when I heard it during the Trudeau era. They never talk about the Hill, though. More rats in that building than this one. You have 343 of them. And then some. This guy could almost have ended up in Six Semper Mentalis, but we'll put him in the lulz section. So I will pause this as soon as it comes up because he is immediately freaking out. From Lazzy B. Hi, Lazzy. An Aussie asks for bacon on his burger, and the Muslim chimps out. Then he gets angrier because he's being recorded. We cannot coexist with these people. Imagine walking into a burger place that sells burgers that have bacon on them, asking for bacon, and your server does this.
Mike, don't fucking record me, bro! Don't record me to stop! Fucking don't record me! I'm gonna fucking break your head, bro!
Let's go.
Now, my only question was, did he get the bacon or not? Oh my god, extra bacon. These people can't exist in polite society. Number one rule, don't give them business. Yeah, if this is the kind of behavior your servers have, even if they just sneer at you, fucking walk out. There is no contract that you are signing when you order food that says you have to pay before you can take receipt of it. Well, generally not. Yeah, that's also why you should go to the counter, order, and then pay when your food comes. Let's see. Hates Jews, Christians, atheists, gays, dogs, bacon, wine, beer, your civilization, your culture, your traditions, your country, and you. Complains about Islamophobia. Yep. What's this? Islam is the only religion that kills you when you disagree with them. Well, that's not true. The number one cause of Islamophobia is the behavior of Muslims. Yep. Yeah, this will always be my favorite bacon-related meme. Eat more bacon? Yep. Yeah, this is Sweden celebrating after they scored a goal in the World Cup. Foreigners telling English people why their flag is racist and what the flag should represent. Yeah. Let's not jump to... Of course it's Muslims. Yeah. Oh, for those of you who don't know, apparently a new GTA clip has dropped. GTA 6 clip has dropped. I think.
Nice weather we're having, huh?
You got a problem, creep?
Just making conversation.
This is worth at least $80, says Alpha Fox. Yeah, let's... oh, excuse me. Sorry. Shut up and take my money. Let's see. White violence will set new highs next year. Razor XP Gaming says, I like black women, though. Why? Even black men don't like black women. What do you think they're chasing our women? Yeah. What's up with white dude wanting to hurt black women? Oh, for fuck's sakes. Grow up. It's a joke. Somebody needs to tell the other publishing companies of games that only GTA can get away with this, because prices are about to go $80 for every fucking game, because fuck you. Yeah. $80, that's cute, but barely covers my weekend plans. You have plans to get paid? What do you do for a living? Or what the fuck is this? How the Titanic would handle a massive tidal wave? Dude, it's tidal. T-I-D-A-L. I don't think that's working out well for the Titanic somehow. What is this? Unlimited samples. Also from Alpha Fox, she says she was not amused.
What's that one?
They're all the same. No more.
What's that one?
They're all the same.
What's that one?
Oh, they're all the same.
Can I try it?
You already did. More time.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you get me one? Thank you.
Yep. When life throws obstacles in your way, find a workaround. I'd buy that for $1. Yep. Okay, let's move over to some. Let's see. Save that one for last. So we'll start at the bottom. And these are completely out of order, so who knows. Mostly it's memes from my Telegram. So first we'll start with this one. From the Orangutangs Mimetic Museum. Yes, that's mine. Yes, I did name it. No, I'm not apologizing. Yes, I think it's funny. Let's see here. Oop. Durka durka durka, durka durka, angry chimp noises. Durka durka durka, durka durka durka. Durka durka Jihad Muhammad. Fire that animal higher in Australia. Yes. That really should be in the game. Listen, it's all about how you play. Yeah, that guy's a douche. Yes. So asking AI, is this mushroom edible? Yes. Then AI responds after you die, you're right, this mushroom was poisonous. I'm sorry for the confusion. Would you like to learn more about poisonous mushrooms? Yeah. This is why you don't trust AI. Next up. Keep in mind that that liberal Karen that's telling you hunting is inhumane has probably had 2 or 3 abortions. Yeah. I haven't done meme reviews for a while, so, you know, I kind of enjoy doing this one. So, this, how I imagined evil as a child, how evil actually looks. Yeah. Let's see, 2 more. We'll do this one, because, well, it's a Star Wars meme, and it's a gun meme, and I like both. You gotta show some love for the Brownings. This is the weapon of an American. Not as clumsy or random as a Glock with a switch. An elegant weapon for a more civilized age. Okay, no. We'll do this one and one more, and then we're done, I believe. Yes. Okay. From Howling Mutant. Howling Mutant says, watching the show Shogun, and all the samurai have mandatory Norwoods, which I assume is this haircut. Superior culture. Kettlebell Chungus points out, it's not just that. This haircut was meant to help cool the head while wearing a battle helmet in the humid soup that is Japan's summer heat, while the bun helped cushion it and hold it up. These are tactical Norwoods. And just because I have a love for a specific type of lady, we'll end with this video here.
Complete this. Once you go black, you never go?
No, it's once you go black, we never want you back.
Yeah, it do be like that. Okay, that's going to be the end of the recorded segment. If you would like to support me, I have told you how to do that. You can also go and check the Ko-Fi link in the description, the pinned comment, and it's been in the ticker this whole time too. If you support me on a monthly basis, I'll put your name in the ticker alongside ZenRap7 and Simon JJ. Otherwise, you can support me for free by liking, sharing, commenting, chatting. Deep thanks to GETTR for hanging out and chatting. Subscribing or following, depending on platform. If you choose to spend your money on me on Rumble, I can't argue with you. But I do prefer that you do it through Ko-Fi. I get a better cut. Other than that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lives become ones. And don't forget, use the July is White History Month hashtag to highlight our heritage and history. I'm going to be going through finding good stories and bad stories to talk about all of next month. So, yeah, there's that. Other than that, those of you who are sticking around, I'll stop the recording.